So we're here at Contact in the Desert with David Hatcher Childress. And David, could you tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are of the Egyptian artifacts found in the Grand Canyon in the early 1900s?
Yeah, 1909, the Phoenix Gazette published this long story about how a kind of explorer named Kinkaid was in the Grand Canyon, and he saw what he thought was a mine up on the wall, and there were tailings coming down. So he climbed up there thinking it was an ancient mine, and what he found was these catacombs that went deep back into the cliffs of the Grand Canyon. And he claims that what he found in there were Egyptian type artifacts, also artifacts that looked kind of Tibetan or Hindu or something, and statues and swords and even mummies and things like that. And the whole thing is a really bizarre story. And supposedly the Smithsonian Institution came, did excavations, and then took all these artifacts back to Washington, D.C., where they disappeared. And the stories later were that nothing had happened. The Smithsonian denied that they had done any excavations or had any artifacts. And so the whole thing just kind of went underground for 50, 60 years until I was able to dig it up in some old books and newspaper articles in Phoenix and began investigating it. But the more I looked into it, the more that it seemed that it really had happened, and that there really was this unusual cave in the Grand Canyon, and that the local Navajo and Hopis knew about this cave. And in fact, there was another explorer whose name was Seth Tanner, who lived around there, and apparently he went into a secret cave system there too, which was probably the same, and the Indians would have killed him, but he was married to a Navajo woman and a Hopi one, I guess. He had two wives, and they decided to let him live, but they blinded him, and he was very famously a blind man who hung out in Cameron. There in Arizona, near the Little Colorado, and it was because he had seen this place, this secret place. I think that rangers don't know about it. I mean, it's not like if you're a ranger or something in the Grand Canyon, you're gonna know all about this. But it must be a few people back in Washington, D.C. who are aware that this happened. And even there's got to be some papers and in theory artifacts back at the Smithsonian.
In reference to Contact?
How's that?
That's great. Thank you so much, David.
Sure.
Yeah.
The grace of God, it becomes simple. Hey, it's great to feel alive. With the sky on